and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie, and this is the week for November the 25th through December the 1st weekly wrap-up. As you guys can see, I am completely raw. I'm just like, I just rolled out of bed, and yesterday was super busy. My son was in a swim meet and it lasted like all day long. All day long. Oh my gosh, so long. So I got no reading done. I have been in this sort of ebook arc reading slump. It has been just not a good week. Not a good week. So you guys are getting me before I have to go to another swim meet for today, and probably won't get any reading done, so there's no point in like trying to wait. And then I want to make sure this video came out for you guys on Sunday, because that's when my weekly wrap-ups come out, right? So you guys are getting me in my pajamas and with my hair not done, and just whew, yeah, sorry ahead of time if you guys think this is a horrible idea. Did I even turn my lights on? Yeah, I did. But I just want to let you guys know what I read last week and, you know, what I'm currently reading or trying to read, because I want to let the authors know that I'm not neglecting them. I've just been a little busy, but I am reading their books, and so this is sort of for them as well as you guys that want to know what I'm reading. Enough rambling, let's get to what I read last week. I started the week off with Life in Motion, an Unlikely Ballerina by Misty Copeland, and this was for non-fic November. This is a memoir. I gave it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and damn, Misty had a rough childhood and rough coming into being the first Black principal dancer for the American Ballet Theater. I believe there were other Black dancers, but she was like, became the first. She made history by becoming the first principal, I think it was, or maybe it was the New York Dance Company. One of those companies she made history with, and she danced Firebird, I think it's called, and she's the principal of it, and yeah, she made history. She had a rough fucking life. Wow. Like, seriously, she comes like from this huge mixed family. Her mom had quite a few different husbands. She has siblings and half siblings and lots of interracial family members, to include herself. She's mixed, and wow, just wow. So there were some parts of it that I didn't particularly care for, but it was a good telling of her story that I can think of. It definitely gives you that feeling of, if you want something, you need to go after it. But yeah, there were some things that I didn't particularly care for. The next book that I read was The Highwayman, Victorian Rebels #1 by Kerrigan, Bryne, and this is a historical romance, or historical romance. And my girl Lauren from the novel Lush suggested that I read it. I give this book 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this book follows Dorian and Farah. I started it last week, so you guys already heard about it, but these are my complete feelings on it, and I ended up loving it. I really enjoyed it. There were parts in the beginning that I was a little iffy about, which is why I only get 4 stars, but in the end, I can't wait to get to the rest of this series, because this sounds like it's going to be super fun. Dorian is this, like, almost, he's a highwayman. He runs scandals and rebels, and he's not a very good guy, but for Farah, she wed her, like, heart when she was, like, 13, 14 years old, like, super young. They had this, like, wedding, and they were married, and then all of a sudden he was taken away, and she just refused to get married. So when she gets orphaned by her parents, and just all kinds of things happen, and it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? And oh, and the sexual chemistry chemistry between the two of them was off the chain. Off the chain. And it was quite dirty. It was quite dirty. So I'm really excited to read the rest of the series. I may actually go out and purchase the future books because only the first 3 are available on the romance package. I might actually, if they continue to be as good as this one was, I may go ahead and just buy that bad boy. The rest of those, I think it's like 6 or 7 other books, or 3 or 4 other books added on top of the 3. So making it a 7-book series, something like that. But yeah, it was real good. The next book that I read was The Idea of You by Amanda Prowse. I placed this in women's fiction. I gave this book 3 stars. I listened to it on audiobook. And this book follows Lucy and Jonah. They are a married couple and they have issues in their marriage with miscarriages. And if you have any triggers for miscarriage, this is going to be a trigger warning sort of book for you. It does sort of go in depth about miscarriages and the guilt that you feel behind it, and it's touching, but at the same time, I wasn't feeling either one of the characters. I wasn't feeling Lucy in her guilt or some of her feelings and actions that she ended up taking, and I wasn't feeling Jonah, like, at all. I didn't get him. I mean, he tried to be the supportive husband, but at the same, it just didn't resonate with me, and I wasn't feeling either one of them. The next book I read last week was Heavy Equipment by Skye Warren. This is an erotic short story. I give this book 5 stars. I listened to it on the podcast of A Read Me Romance. Yes, read me romance. Read me romance. I am loving this podcast, just putting that out there. I love that I'm getting short stories from so many different authors, new to me authors like Skye Warren. I don't know why I have been sleeping on Skye, because that book was off the chain. Now, if you don't like the sort of captive, what was it? I can't remember what they called it, but it's like the forced indenturedness. No, that's so not the term, but the enslavement of another person because of a debt. Just put that out there. You may not like this book, but it's dirty. It's dirty. I placed it in erotic short stories, so come on. If you're not looking for the dirty, then you might want to pass on this, but it was so much fun. This book revolves around Asher and June. Asher is this construction foreman, and June is this, like, pretty princess that her family ends up losing their construction company to Asher. I do want to dive into the other books that have these 2 characters, or have mention of these characters, have mention of this company, because I want to know some more backstory, and I want some more about this couple, because Asher is like straight up alpha. He is construction worker, and just so many yeses. I'm sorry, that's all I can say. So many yeses. So hot. And I swear to sweet Jesus, this Read Me Romance podcast leaves me with Lady Blue Balls at least 3 or 4 times a week. Craziness. Because they get to that one little point, it's like, and we're back! And it's like, oh my God! Why did you stop right there? Give me more! I need more! I need the rest of it. So, yeah. Ooh. And then the last book that I finished last week was The Lucky Heart, Jamesson Valley #3 by Devney Perry. I place this in contemporary, and I give it 4.525 stars, and I listened to it on audiobook. Now, this book, I did not like our main character, Felicity, female main character, because she was a bitch in the other book that she was introduced into. And even in the beginning of this one, I was like, this bitch, what the hell? But guilt does a strange and funny thing to people. It will make you act off your head. It will make you just do things that are out of character, or make you into a person that, you know, you just didn't know you were going to be. And that is exactly what fueled this story. Felicity has guilt over some things that happened in her younger life. She ended up leaving the town of Jamesson Valley when she was young. She popped smoke as soon as she graduated from high school, and now she's back after a tragic event. And she has lots of guilt. I'm not going to tell you what the guilt is or anything like that. And then you have Silas. Silas, I love Silas in the other books he was introduced into, and I really felt for him. He has some guilt as well, and then he has his family that has some guilt, and just all around, I loved this book, and it's a great story of unraveling how guilt can change people's perception, and once you finally admit to some of the guilt that you have, things can change. Now, on to what I am currently reading. I am currently reading The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory, and I also received a copy of that from my Read Bliss unboxing, holiday unboxing. You guys probably haven't seen that yet. No, I know you haven't seen it because I just submitted it. But I have heard mixed feelings about this book. Some of my friends got to read it early. I was supposed to read it early from NatGalley, but I did not. Had some other pressing things, but now I am finally listening to it. It came on sale, so I went ahead and got it as an audiobook. And so far, I'm about like 10% into it, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm starting to see some of those flaws that my book friends and I have discussed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the listening to it as an audiobook will give me a different perception of it than actually reading it, because they said it's kind of different. Like, I can't believe this is the same author that wrote The Wedding Date. And I hope I don't have that same feeling. I am still reading Lies by Aleatha Romig. As I said in the beginning of this video, I am in a e-arc slump right now, and I really want to get into this book because that cliffhanger from Secrets was ridiculous, and I need to know what happened, but I can't seem to pick up my e-readers. I can't seem to pick up my Kindles, but I'm trying to read Lies by Aleatha Romig. I'm also trying to read Next in Line by Amy Daws, which is another advanced copy arc that I got. And I am still trying to read The Darkest Corner by Sydney Jamesson, which was an advanced copy as well. I am going to be trying to like push myself, but when I push myself to read ebooks, I end up giving them lower ratings, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to take my time. These authors that I've just mentioned are very understanding that I have a busy life, as well as, you know, trying to read their books and putting out videos and stuff like that. So I thank them publicly. Thank you very much, authors, for understanding my game. And I am reading your books. I really am. And I want to give them the fairest amount of review instead of rushing through them. So that is why I am still behind on those. But that's what I'm reading this week. And I was reading last week, and I'm going to be reading this week, but I'm going to push myself to do that. So, have you heard of any of the books that I just mentioned? Have you read any of the books that I mentioned? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of them, if you have. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.